G'day and welcome to a very special episode of Wine Week. I'm Danny.
And I'm Brad.
And we're going to give all of these wines away.
We finally got there. Look, it's a little bit later than we normally do it. We normally try and do it before the end of the year, but look, things got a bit hectic but we got there in the end.
We did get there. Where did we get? To our best dozen of 2010. We reviewed about 150 odd wines on the show last year. These 12 are our pick of the bunch.
Yeah, we've done for the last few years. We go back through the list, pick out our favourites, and then come up with this best dozen.
Yep, and my first cab off the rank, the De Bortoli Rococo. From the sparklings that we did last year, that one was the one that I ended up recommending to friends and family time and time again. If you're after a bargain sparkling that is decent quality, actually has some bottle aging on lees in there, you can't go past the De Bortoli. 20 odd bucks at most places, and really decent quality sparkling at 20 bucks. You'd have to spend $60 realistically to do much better than that. That De Bortoli, like so many in their range, absolute ripper. Easy one to get in the best dozen.
Punches well above its weight.
Sure does.
Now, we couldn't have our best dozen without a Riesling, could we? So we thought, we went through the list and thought, pick out the St Hallett Riesling this year, and this is from the Eden Valley. St Hallett, look, they're Rieslings, they age superbly. We were lucky enough to have a tasting early in the year. We looked at a 5-year-old Riesling that was just absolutely singing. The current release is just as good out of the Eden Valley, and St Hallett holding up our end for our Riesling, summer of Riesling that we're going through at the moment.
Yeah, often really well known for their Shiraz, but that Riesling's brilliant. Now, speaking of whites, the Toolangi Chardonnay, one that we've done year on year in the show, hasn't quite made it into the best dozen before, but this year it certainly did. You know, Chardonnay making a huge comeback in Australia after so many people spent so long just drinking Sauv Blanc. If you're just starting to make the move now and want a little tipple that shows you what decent, good, new Chardonnay's all about, you could do so much worse than the Toolangi, because we think that is a rip snorter.
Yeah, and especially this one. This is just their entry one, which is about $20 a bottle. Fantastic value for money as well.
Yep.
Moving on to a great Semillon. Now, we haven't done as many Semillons as we probably would have liked on the show. We tend to focus a bit on Riesling, but we tried to make amends for that in 2010, and we did a few more. And look, Andrew Thomas Braymore Semillon is really one of the great Semillons. Based in the Hunter Valley, Tomo really, he just loves his Semillon grapes, and he puts out the one that's got a little bit of bottle age, and the one that's the current release, fresh as a daisy. Again, really good value for money here, just over 20 bucks. And look, Semillon is a fantastic white wine. If you haven't had much of it, do yourselves a favour, get the Braymore, because it's a great example.
Yeah, and ages so well, as is shown in this Braymore. As Brad says, current one, older one, make the choice, enjoy it whichever way you go. Now, something else that we don't do an enormous amount on the show, giraffes.
No,
we don't. But Giraffe might be making a bit of a comeback, and one of the guys that's doing it absolutely stunningly up around Rutherglen, the home of Giraffe in Australia, Rowley at Scion. And this, the 2008, picked up massive awards up at the Rutherglen Wine Show when I was up there late September last year. We'd done it on the show just prior to that. Look, there are people absolutely raving about how well this is done. It's not super massive. You don't have to lay it down for 50 years before you can open it. It is a wine that you can drink reasonably straight away, but does show what you can do with Giraffe when you're just not aiming to make it a big bag of bricks. And that one, ripper, whoever wins this will love that wine.
Yes, and Rowley, not to be confused with Rollo, but Rowley is an up-and-coming young gun of wine, so look out for him going forward.
Yeah.
Now switching across to a lighter grape variety, and that's a Pinot Noir. And look, the Yabby Lake Pinot Noir, the last couple of vintages have just been in tip-top form. Mornington Peninsula, we know, does great Pinot, and there are some producers that have just had a really good last few years, and Yabby Lake is no exception. This one, you know, you're paying a little bit more for good Pinot, but let's be honest, when you're comparing it against wines in a similar price bracket, this Pinot absolutely knocks some of the others for dead. Lovely, sort of that light fruit, but plenty of fruit weight. So look, Yabby Lake Pinot, get onto it if you can.
Yeah, you can't say better about a wine from us than when we buy like large amounts of it. I bought large amounts of that. Another wine that I've bought large amounts of, the Story Shiraz, the Grampian Shiraz. I've bought this, taken it to Barbie's, and stunned people with what they think the price point is, because people know I love good wine and I drag out something that they fall in love with. They often think, that's got to be $50 plus. Not so. This one, another Shiraz that punches well above its weight from a littleish producer. Look, Rory at the Story, great little rhyming going on there, but great wines. Both this, the Grampian Shiraz, and some of the topper end stuff that he does, I give away regularly to friends because I absolutely adore this wine. Great Shiraz, not overblown, not overdone, subtle at the same time as having some great amounts of fruit in there. That's a ripper.
Yeah, good on Rory, because he's managed to build some relationships with some great growers in the Grampians and doing some fine work out of there. Now, moving on to the Barossa Valley, and this is one of the Gleitzer wines. Now, we've had a look at quite a few of the different Gleitzer wines over the last 4 odd years on the show, and this is the Wallace, and this is a blend of Grenache and Shiraz, two great varieties that the Barossa Valley is well known for. But again, like all of these wines that are on the table, we're talking about value for money here, and you can pick up the Gleitzer Wallace for the sort of mid-20s, which at that price, the last couple of vintages of this wine have been truly stunning. So look, if you're looking for that Barossan Shiraz that you can drag out for your barbecues and your nice red meats, then you can go worse than the Gleitzer Wallace.
Yeah, you certainly can. The Ben Gleitzer name, the Gleitzer name in general, so many good wines have come out of that family. Speaking of a bit of family, the Rebke from Teusner. Now, this we've done on the show a couple of years. Once again, hasn't made it into the best dozen before. A little bit of an oversight in many regards, but just shows how many good wines we do each year, because that rip snorter again. Now, this is classic Barossan Shiraz. Big, bold, meaty. You know what you're getting when you open this one, but you're getting great value. That is a ripping wine, and there are so many people who know about it. You won't find it in a lot of the big shops often. You will find it at the little specialists, and that's the place to find great wine. That one, make sure you look out for that.
Now, speaking of great wine, long-time viewers of the show will know that Danny and I are fans of Cabernet, in particular Coonawarra Cabernet. So it's always refreshing when a new one pops up on the horizon, but from an established producer, and this is the Yalumba cigar. Now, those in the know will know the Terra Rossa soil in the Coonawarra is in a cigar shape, hence the name of this wine. Now, this comes in at a little bit less price than, say, their Menzies Cabernet. This one comes in at the sort of mid to high 20s, but don't mistake that for the quality, because these guys have got some amazing grapes going on in the Coonawarra at the moment, and they keep coming up with these new wines, and they keep knocking our socks off. So, look, the Yalumba cigar, really good price point, traditional Coonawarra Cabernet, so if you like your Cabernets, then look out for this one, because it really is a good value wine.
Yeah, we saw some great stuff coming out of Coonawarra in the last year. The Wynns Glengold could have made it into this list, just missed out, mostly because they're so good.
Hard to get.
Yeah, you can't find them for love nor money. That one, absolutely beautiful nonetheless. Now, speaking of love and money, if you love wine and you've got some money, you could do some great stuff for yourself. The Penfolds St Henri. Each year we look at all of the Penfolds range, the bins, the icons, the super luxuries, these sorts of things, and it's always a fight. Which one's the best that they released in the year? Maybe the Grange was this year, the 05, absolutely stunning, but at price point, the St Henri, once again, for the last couple of years, that has been absolutely stunning, and is again such a great wine. Not quite the expense of the Grange, so we thought, hey, let's give away a St Henri, because you'll start to see some great wine, and that, the development you can see out of that for the next 20 years, absolutely beautiful.
Yes, stunning wine, the St Henri. Speaking of stunning wine, we thought we'd finish off this year with one of the highlights of the year for us last year. We were lucky enough to attend a vertical tasting of Wolf Blass Platinum Shiraz. First time they've held one of such tastings of all of the vintages under the Platinum label. And we picked out the current release Platinum just to finish off this episode with, because it really does highlight the amazing quality that you can get from well-made Barossan fruit Shiraz that you can lay down for a bit of time in the cellar, because it really is a true icon of Australian wine. And the Wolf Blass Platinum label, look, it's not cheap, it is quite expensive, but if you are a collector of fine wine, then you need to have a few of these sorts of wines in your cellar, because they really do show what we can produce here in the country. And look, the Wolf Blass Platinum 2007, it's even drinking well now, but it is the sort of wine you really do put it away for a few years, bring it out, and you will be rewarded. It is one of the great examples of Aussie winemaking.
Yep. So, how do you get them? Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, subscribe via the website, wineweek.com.au, and you could win this entire set. There's some bloody expensive wines in there. All of them, though, exceptionally good wines. Our best dozen of 2010.
Yep, and we might also have a special deal. Look out for it, because you might be able to source some of these wines elsewhere. We'll keep you posted. There might be something happening in the background there.
Yes, look out for next week. Keep up to date with us on Twitter, Facebook, and the website. Yeah, something interesting going on there. But hook in, try and win them. We'll give them away in basically a month's time. So why not? We'll see you next week.
See you next week.